Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video covering the Valhalla Champions Path earn-up, where you can earn either one of the NM116 or the NM116 Panserjager, so you can pick the Cold War reward or the World War II reward. It's going off from the 13th of May to the 3rd of June, and through this you can also get discounts on the 4 new Valhalla tanks as well. So if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Valhalla Champions Path earn-up. From this, like I say, you can get the discounts on the Valhalla tanks as well, for which you pick one of the gods and you'll get the discount on their tank, as well as the Gungnir, which is the tier 9 Swedish tank destroyer. And what we're going to do in this video is show you what you can earn from the challenge, how you can earn those points, where you pick your gods, and then we'll go through the statistics of the two tanks that you could earn for free, and then show you gameplay for those tanks. So let's start with the Champions Path. So as you can see, we've got the Brawls of Valhalla as well, which is a 7v7 event battle, which you can also play to get yourself honor points, as they're called. So the Champions Path is going from the 13th of May to the 3rd of June. The Champions Path is an individual challenge where you'll answer that question. You know, when Ragnarok arrives, where will you stand? So to begin your journey, visit your Challenges tab in-game. Your first task is to pledge yourself as a champion to one of the 3 Norse gods, Freya, Thor, or even the treacherous Loki. Once you do this, you will receive that god's 2D standard commander and specific flag. Choose your god carefully, the Norns do not play. Once your decision is made, like fate, you cannot change it. So this op works the same as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles op that we had, where you have to pick one of them, and once you've picked one, that is the only one you'll get, and you can use that commander to get points by using it, essentially. And you've got to pick one of either Freya, Thor, or Loki. Now, which one you pick will mean that you get discounts on a specific tank. So, if we skip down here, if you were to pick Loki, you'll get discounts on the tier 8 Leviathan medium tank. If you pick Freya, you'll get discounts on the Throngva. And if you pick Thor, you'll get discounts on the Mjolnir. Now, the Throngva is the Era 1 Kranvan. The Mercenary tank is the Leviathan, which is an Emil Hull. The turret of a Tornvang, sorry. And then the gun of the UDES 14 Alt 5. The Mjolnir is the STRF hull with a UDES 15-16 turret in Era 3 as a light tank. So it's down to you and how you, whichever one you want to pick to be able to earn discounts on if you want to buy them. And I will have tank reviews on those in the coming days as well. So, yes, where were we? Yeah, picking Freya, Thor, or Loki. So from there, you will complete challenger stages by earning honor, aka points, in addition to multiplayer and co-op goals. You will also be able to earn honor in the Brawls of Valhalla special event mode. More information about that is found in the Brawls of Valhalla section below. So the new 7v7 mode that's out for the duration of this event, or for this week, whichever one. We'll get to it when we see down in the second part of this. So, honor rules. How we earn points in this earn-up. Destroy one vehicle will get you honor. Get you 1 honor. Destroying one. You can only get a max of 4 points. So the maximum number of honor points you'll be able to earn in a single multiplayer or co-op battle is 4. So if you do all of these, you will get 4 points, and that's the max you can get from one battle. So destroying one vehicle will gain you a point. Deal 500 or more damage while using a Viking commander, which you can get the Norse mythology and Viking commanders you may have received in other ways through the challenges, like this, or war chests. There's quite a few in the game at this point, but yeah, this might be your first one that you're getting. So if you use any of these commanders that you see here, you will also get a point for dealing 500 or more damage. Block 1,000 or more damage is an honor, so you want to go get Brawl in and block. And the weird one is receive 25% or damage or more of your maximum health in a surviving battle. That's a weird one to get a point for, because that's just encouraging people to go and take damage. I suppose it's encouraging you to go to the front line, but it's a lot of damage to take. I feel like that should be receive 25% potential damage, which would mix in blocked as well. So you could block 25% of your health, and then you'd get a point as well, right? But as well as the extra damage you take would add to that potential target. It's a bit of an odd one, but sure. So that's how you get your points. But you can, just like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle op, lose points. So you deal less than 500 damage, you'll lose a point. Survive 2 minutes or less will also earn you a point. And place 14th or 15th on your team, and you will also lose a point. So you've just got to be careful of not losing too many points while playing. So you don't want to be playing too aggressively and being that YOLO scout where you die in the first minute because you'll lose a point. If you deal less than 500 damage, which realistically, if you're dealing with less than 500 damage, you've not played very well, you will lose a point. And again, placing 14th or 15th is just kind of an anti-AFK system, if we're honest. So for those of you who persevere, you'll be handsomely rewarded with plenty to fill your coffers, including themed garage cosmetics, Valhalla war chests, and more. Along the way, you will earn discounts on new premium tanks. With the god you choose for this challenge, you may learn all about the 4 new tanks that arrive with Valhalla event in the article, which I'll link in the description down below. But like I say, I will have tank reviews on those vehicles in the next coming days. Truly, we said 4 premium tanks. In addition to those discounts, as you travel the Champion's Path, you will also receive discounts on the vehicle representing Wise Odin himself, the Swedish Tier 9 Gungnir tank destroyer. And you'll receive those no matter which god you pledge yourself. And if you seek more riches, know also that the final stage of the Champion's Path will grant you your choice of either the NM116 post-war Era 1 Western Alliance tank destroyer or the American Tier 8 NM116 Panserjager tank destroyer. If you already own these tanks, which a lot of people will because they've been given out, well, the Panserjager was in a battle pass not that long ago, and the NM116 has been available quite a few times. So if you have the Cold War NM116, you'll get 3.6 million. If you have the World War II NM116, you'll get 4.2 million silver. So if you pick one of those 2 tanks, that's what the silver you'll gain back. So for this Champion's Path, at 10 points, you'll get yourself a repair kit and a flag voucher. At 15 points, you'll get yourself 2 vehicle XP boosters and then some emblems. At 20 points, you'll get yourself a day of premium, some inscription vouchers, which is restricted to German tanks apparently, and 15% discount on your chosen god's tank. So Loki, the Leviathan will be 15%, Thrungver or the Mjolnir. Mew Mew! So at Champion's Path 4, for 25 points, you'll get 2 times Commander XP boosters. Or, no, 4 times Commander XP boosters. Oh my goodness me, read the page properly. And you'll get yourself 2 Valhalla war chests. So, chance to get some free gold. Take it. At Champion's Path 5, for 30 points, we'll get 3 days of premium and garage gear. And 20% discount on the Gungnir. At Champion's Path 6, 35 points, we'll also get yourself some camo vouchers and the emblem vouchers. At Champion's Path 7, earn 40 points. You will get yourself 4 times Commander XP boosters, which you get 3 of, and another 3 Valhalla war chests, which we'll take, again, free gold. 25% discount on your chosen god's tank, so you get 25% discount on the Leviathan, the Thrungver, the Mjolnir. At Champion's Path 8 for 55 points, you will get yourself the Hilda 3D Hero Commander with a custom VO, which is pretty cool because I like the custom VO commanders, with the Horned Helm emblem vouchers as well. At Champion's Path 9 for 70 points, you'll get yourself some more camo vouchers for this, which looks pretty cool to be fair, with the Berserker's banner flag vouchers. And at Champion's Path 10 for 100 points, you will get yourself an Odin voucher, Odin flag voucher, garage gear, and a 35% discount on the Gungnir. And you will be able to earn either the NM116 from Era 1 or the American Tier 8 NM116 Panserjager from World War II. And then again, it's down to you whether you want to pick the Cold War reward or the World War II reward. And that's the garage gear that you'll be able to get, the Viking Trophy or the Viking Runestone as well, or both of those. And then you've got the supporting sales, but you've also got the Brawls of Valhalla Part 1, which goes off for 1 week, so from this week to next week. There we go. The gods have declared it so. During Valhalla event, you can brawl your way into worthiness for 1 week only, earn honour points by taking your favourite Tier 8 medium and heavy tanks into Part 1 of the special event mode matches, the Brawls of Valhalla. These PvP matches will be accessible via the game's mode's select screen. Their rules are simple. Each enemy tank you destroy is worth 1 point. The first team to reach 15 points wins, so essentially get 15 kills. Your team gets 15 kills, they win the battle. And there is respawns. So, essentially, you could kill the same person 6 times. And that'll get the points, and someone could survive for the whole battle, right? And people will keep respawning. So, this one is World War II only. The matches last 10 minutes, 7 a team, and those are the maps that you can play on. That's the respawn times are progressive, so they get worse the longer the more you die, essentially. And if you want to earn honor from this, it's deal 4,000 damage in a winning battle. So you can earn the points from this 7v7 game mode. If you see it and think, oh, it's World War II only, I don't play World War II, I don't have tanks at tier 8, etc., there will be a Cold War 1 next week, which is why it's part 1, which is what they've said. So yeah, that's how you can earn honor for this earn-up. That's what you get from it. You can earn either the NM116 or the Panserjager, and then you get discounts on the new Valhalla tanks as well. So let's go take a look at the two tanks that you can play, or should I say you can pick to earn for free, and also how you earn or choose your god. So here we are in game. So as you can see, if you're on the main page here where you select your game mode, you've got the option to press Y and you can choose your god. You press Y, it will take you to the challenges tab where you've got Valhalla and you can choose Freya, Loki or Thor. It's your choice which one you want to pick in that regard. And then once you select your god, essentially, you will then end up being able to get that commander, that emblem, and then have the discount on the vehicle that you want. So I'm realistically probably going to pick Thor, because I think that tank's the most... No, you know what? We're going to pick Loki. Or we're going to pick Freya. Who knows? You know, we'll go with Freya. We'll get a discount on the Throngva. There we go. Let's just go with it. So we picked Freya to get the discount on the Throngva, and with that we should now have Freya somewhere in our crews. There she is, right there, and if I use Freya, I will then get an extra point every time for doing 500 damage. So you want to be doing a skill swap, which will cost you a bit of silver, and then you can get her to be max 9 skills, or Loki or Thor, whichever crew member you pick. So that's how you pick your god. So what about the tanks? So we're going to start off with the NM116 Panserjager, the tier 8 American TD, and then I'll show you some gameplay for it, and then we'll go into the section for the Cold War version, the NM116, which was the first one to come out. So, the NM116 Panserjager, what's it like as a tank? Well, if you've seen the videos on this channel about it, you've seen the original tank review for it, it's pretty mental. It's a pretty OP little TD, because it can do everything. It's a medium, light tank destroyer. It can do it all. It's a fantastic tank to play, because you've got fantastic camo, you've got decent view range, you've got good mobility, you've got good penetration. Your alpha's a little bit low, seeing as you're a TD, but generally, because your DPM is fantastic as well, everything about this tank is just utterly fantastic. So, what do we run in terms of a crew and equipment for this vehicle? Well, in terms of the equipment, I run the advanced loader, the optics, and the camo net. Camo net to get that 212 meters of steel concealment that you can see there, which is absolutely filthy. The optics to be able to get up to 473 meters of view range, so I can spot myself quite easily in this vehicle, and then be able to shoot people from further distances without them getting too close and being able to spot me. And the advanced loader to make the best of the DPM, which is absolutely fantastic on this vehicle. And then in terms of a crew, I also run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, and Muffled Shot. All three camo perks to make sure that the camo on this tank is as filthy as possible. So I'm reducing the effect of firing on my camo by 35%, so when I'm firing, it's a lot harder for them to be able to see me. Silent driving to be able to decrease the effect of movement on my camo so I can get to the aggressive bush locations quite easily without them being able to see me. And the camouflage expertise to just generally make the camo better on this vehicle. And then run and gun to get that accuracy during movement down as low as possible, because it is pretty poor if you don't help it. And since this tank doesn't get the gun stabilizer as it is a TD, it means that the accuracy during movement rotation are a bit poorer if you don't help them. And the steady aim to make the accuracy in general better on this vehicle. And then let's have a quick look at the modules as well while we're here before we go into the statistics. That's where the engine block is for the NM116 Panserjager. That's where the turret... Now, if you didn't know where the turret was, that's where the turret is. I got you covered. That's where the ammo rack is on this vehicle. This tank is quite difficult to ammo rack because of that ammo rack placement. You have to shoot it very, very low to hit them, and then even then they are a pretty small target to hit. So something that's quite nice for the Panserjager is the fact that it generally doesn't get its ammo rack damage that often. And then that's where the crew sit in the Panserjager NM116. And naturally, as you're a light, medium tank destroyer hybrid, you have absolutely no armor. So yeah, don't ever try and rely on your armor because it won't work. You might occasionally get a lucky bounce on it, but yeah, don't rely on it whatsoever for the NM116 Panserjager. So let's get into the statistics of the NM116 Panserjager. So as you can see, we've got a 61.2 km/h top speed, a 17.7 km/h reverse speed, 400 horsepower engine, which is 21.5 horsepower per ton ratio, and you've got a 15% internal fire chance, which is on the middle area of fire chances in World War II. So you've got good power to weight, which means you do hit 61 quite easily, and your reverse speed is pretty fantastic at 17.7 as well for a turreted tank destroyer. Your ground resistances don't hold the tank back whatsoever. With a 40 degrees a second hull rotation speed, that means your tank does turn pretty quickly on its tracks as well, which is lovely. 212 meters of still concealment is absolutely incredible. It means you are very difficult to spot in this tank if you play it correctly, because this tank is all about being that second line support vehicle. And 234 meters a second on the move concealment. I was about to say shell velocity. No. On the move concealment, 234 on the move concealment is also absolutely fantastic, meaning that you are very difficult to spot even when you're moving. 473 meters of view range, though, is below average for a tier 8 tank, but you are a tier 8 turreted tank destroyer, so generally you are going to have a bit worse in terms of the view range. But 473 is still pretty good enough to be able to spot for yourself, especially with such fantastic camo. 32.58 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed means the turret rotation is slower than the tracks, so be careful of that, the fact that your turret does turn slower, but it's still, for a turreted tank destroyer, it's still pretty damn solid. 0.73 accuracy during rotation is actually pretty good as well for the Panserjager, without having snapshot or a gun stabilizer. That's a pretty good statistic. It's not absolutely fantastic, but it's also not bad. But you do have a 3.86 accuracy during movement, which is pretty poor, and that's fairly standard thing for turreted tank destroyers or tank destroyers in general. The accuracy during movement is usually pretty poor, and that means that your aim circle when you move the tank will become rather large. But you do have a 1.84 second aim time, which is absolutely fantastic. It means the gun just goes ready to go pretty damn quickly, which is great for the NM116 Panserjager. You got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is again incredible for this tank. It means you're incredibly flexible on a ridgeline, and you can use so many positions to good effect because that gun depression is so good. A 0.28 accuracy at 100 meters is great, means you are super duper accurate. You got a 4.89 second reload on the standard APCR round as well. Well, you got 4.89 second reload with APCR, heat, and HE as your rounds, which is 3.4, nearly 3.5k DPM, which for a tier 8 tank is absolutely incredible. And the DPM is just nutty, to be honest. You absolutely shred vehicles so quickly in this tank, especially if you catch them out and they're spotted in the distance and they're out in the open. You just constant smashing them with these rounds. You got 262 penetration on the standard APCR round, which is fantastic for a tier 8 tank destroyer. 320 pen on the premium heat rounds, which again is fantastic. And 45mm of penetration on the HE rounds, which is pretty low and will struggle to pen a lot of vehicles, to be honest, even some of the artilleries. But you can still pen some of the lightly armoured artilleries with that, which can be good. Can up your damage to 370. And you got 280 alpha on this 90mm gun as well for those APCR and heat rounds. You got 1275 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR rounds, with 950 meters a second shell velocity on the premium heat rounds. So the standard APCR rounds are fantastic in terms of their velocity, and it's generally very, very nice velocity, and it feels great. The heat rounds, though, if you do load those, you've got to bear in mind that your velocity is a lot worse, and you have to adjust for that, as it is slightly below average as well. But the general gun handling and the general penetration, the DPM, the accuracy, the mobility, mixed in with the amazing camo, the 10 degrees of gun depression, everything about the Panserjager is absolutely incredible. You do have a 150% silver bonus, though, which is on the lower end, but since you don't really have to fire premium that often in this vehicle, you make a lot of silver with the Panserjager, which is also delightful. But yeah, that's the NM116 Panserjager. It is a fantastic tier 8 World War II tank destroyer. Like I say, it's probably a little bit OP, to be fair, as it is just so good in so many areas that invalidates quite a few tanks, but there you go. So you can earn this thing for free. What I'm going to do now is show you the tank in some replays, where you can watch this tank in action, see how it handles, and just see if it was a bit of you. Most of you will probably know what it's about, though, as it has been around for quite a while, and well, I say it was in the Battle Pass. So as always, everybody, I will see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the Panserjager, and this first game we are top tier and we're on this map, which is Thiepval. And Thiepval Ridge is going to be a pretty nice map for us to go in the Panserjager because we can use the good mobility to get to aggressive positions, we can use the fantastic 212 meters of still concealment to stay unspotted in quite a lot of locations, and there's a lot of good positions we can take to also just farm up with the incredible DPM that we have on this tank at 3.4, nearly 3.5k DPM. It is, this tank is just absolutely incredible to play, as if you play it in its correct role, and that is not be too aggressive, not be the centre of people's attention, you will have an absolute time with this. If you play this like the traditional tank destroyer, yeah, if you play it as a traditional tank destroyer, you will farm up, but at the same time, you can also be, it's the flexibility. I think it's the flexibility that makes this tank so great, in the fact that you can be an amazing tank destroyer playing the tank destroyer role, but you can also be a pretty damn fantastic light tank as well. The only thing you lack a little bit is the view range, because you're basically a chaffee, because it's a Norwegian upgraded chaffee, right? And that's why they picked the Panserjager and the NM116 as well for the Ernop, is because it fits the Norse mythology thing, because they're two Norwegian tanks. But yeah, you are basically a chaffee, but with an upgraded gun. So you have the fantastic camo, you have the good mobility that tank has as well. So you can scout, you can go to aggressive bush locations and spot quite easily and be that passive scout. But then you can fall back and be this amazing tank destroyer like you're seeing here, where you just go, haha, I have you, you're dead now. Have fun with that. So yeah, you can do that, and you can play like the medium tank in that role as well, because you can go to the aggressive spots that medium tanks might go to as well. And because you've got such good gun handling except for on the move, you can just sort of battle in those sorts of locations as well. So yeah, it's just one of those tanks that it just covers all quite easily. So here on Thiepval Ridge, we managed to get 1275 damage so far, because we got a couple of shots into a Panther 2, and I'm just trying to see if there's anything at the back to be able to shoot us if we were to come after the Black Prince that was at F8. So I'm just taking some blind fires. Now, what I'm blind firing for is artillery, because those spots that I just fired at tend to be the spots that artillery like to go stay in, or generally spawn in. You know, artillery a lot of the time, they just don't move. So we tried to blind fire it and see if we could get a cheeky shot, but yeah, we tried to be cheeky, it didn't work. So we see the Black Prince, we wait for him to move where there's a bush between me and him, we fire, we don't get spotted. I waited that extra second just for that bush, because of the fact that the camo on this tank is so good that if there was a bush between me and the Black Prince, it would struggle to spot me because of the concealment rating I'm getting from the bush. And, well, thankfully it worked out like that. We also got a shot into the E25 as well. Went for the shot into the IKV, it didn't quite go in. Now we poke over the ridgeline to get a shot into the Black Prince, and sadly we hit the ridgeline there because there was a very slim shot on that tank. Should we have gone for that? I don't think so. And the reason for that is the fact that we got spotted. We should have not got spotted there, not told the enemy where we are. We should have just used our mobility to push up and get over here quite quickly. And then we could have used the bush line over here to stay unspotted while farming this Black Prince with where he is. So we're going to try and do that again. So this is what we're actually going to try and do now. Now he's 336 meters away. You can see we fire with no concealment between us. He doesn't see us because the camo is just that good. And he probably hasn't spec'd out for concealment. But then we find the RT, and it's like, hello, Mr. S51. We fire one, it hits the floor. Thanks, gun. Okay, so we load HE to up our damage to 370. Put a shot straight through his superstructure. I know he's fired. He's got the big gun because it's shorter and stubbier. And we just, unfortunately, the shot misses, and then the second one doesn't pan. I'm starting to think, okay, he's going to fire. So we just use our mobility to get around the S51. Finish off the tier 7 artillery, take a hit from what is the E25 behind us, trying to just aim up the shot to get a shot in. He bounces off our tracks, and then, well, we get unspotted, which is great for us, but he gets outside of our ability to shoot him. So now we're unspotted, we're going to try and get into a position to shoot the C25. We can't let this guy get away. Why? Well, he's got camo as insane as me. I can kill him in one shot as he has 257 hit points, but we don't need to do that as the Type 59 ends up finishing him off. We go for the shot into the SU-130PM, but sadly for me, we ended up missing that shot there, and I kind of wish I had the HE rounds now that we fired at the artillery, as we could be penning this guy for 370. I'm kind of sad that those HE rounds didn't go very well against the RE, as we really did have to hit his superstructure or his little shield, but yeah, it sadly didn't work out like that. So, we're going to go push the tempo now. It is 8-8, which means we're on a knife's edge. We want to get rid of the SU-130PM and then go after the IKV as well. So what I'm going to do is push up, poke out of this bush, and then if we poke out the bush, we should hopefully see the IKV possibly, but it doesn't quite work out like that. I was just seeing if I could do it, and now we're going to go pressure the SU-130PM, because I would like to get rid of his big gun if I can, and try and catch him on the hop. So we find a T-69, which I've got to be careful of. It is an autoloader, and there's the SU-130PM. He's running away. We put one shot into the SU-130PM because I knew that if I got spotted, I could pull back behind this ridgeline. But because he crashes into a rock, it ends up meaning that he stays in front of my gun, so we just put a shot in to finish him off. The T-69 gets a shot into us there, but we end up tracking and penning him. We see the IKV is in a position that I maybe could get shots into, but I'm trying to not get shot by the T-69 as well. We get unspotted, so we're going to poke out, put a shot at the IKV, and we bounce! We bounced on an IKV, and then we miss! The gun is... I said it's got great gun handling, didn't I? I said it. I said it's got great gun handling. If you're not fully aimed, the gun on this tank does find its way to shoot outside the outside of the reticle quite easily. Does it every time. You have to be fully aimed for this tank to be accurate, because it does like a good miss, which can be so frustrating, but there we go. So we're aiming up towards the medium tank, and in fact the medium tank doesn't even drive out. We've now got the 45 TP in front of us, and with the bushes between me and that 45 TP, who is 200 and something meters away, 270 meters away, he has no chance of ever seeing me unless he gets quite close. So we're just going to farm him up and finish off this tier 7 heavy tank, and we secure our 4th kill of this game. But we've got 25 seconds before we cap. There's a TD and the T69. Now we know where the T69 is, but here's an autoloader, and he can kill me in one clip, so I have to be very, very careful. But it's looking like we're actually going to cap out. So we get in, get the surprise shot into his side. I'm being extremely careful, and then I go, wait a minute. Why am I being careful? We're going to cap. So we just YOLO over, put a shot into him. I know I'm going to take a hit, but, well, we win. So we get that extra shot of damage in there for 5,014 damage. We finish with the victory, 4 kills, that 5,014 damage, 995 assistance, 192,000 silver, the first class, the high caliber, the Pascucci's medal, for that 1991 basic P, which is a really great game there for the Panserjager, and it speaks volumes that that's only a first class. But yeah, this tank is absolutely fantastic, and that showed it perfectly what it can do. The camo is fantastic, you can stay unspotted in so many situations, and then if you get yourselves into those farming locations that this kind of tank wants to be in, and not be in a too aggressive, too close position to the enemy team where you're spotted, you will just farm, because they will have no idea where you are, and your DPM just, like I say, at this tier, 3.5k DPM nearly absolutely shreds, and it is a thing of beauty. But now we're on to the second replay for the Panserjager, the final replay for this tier 8 American tank destroyer, and we are on Dukla Pass, and on Dukla Pass, it is a very tier, well, it's a half and half tier 10 game, I think, so we're in the worst matchup we could probably get for a Panserjager, but to be honest, except for the hit point problem of 1100, where we can get killed by 3 shots for the most part on average, we don't care. Quite frankly, this is the Panserjager, we don't care that it's tier 10. Why? Because we've got amazing camo, so if we use that to our strength, the tier 10s will still struggle to see us. We've got an amazing gun, as long as we've fully aimed, as you've seen, it likes to miss otherwise. We've got an amazing gun. So with that penetration, we will not struggle to pen them. And then we've got DPM, which is akin to a fair few tanks at tier 10. So we can just shred. So realistically, if I play this tank correctly, I don't really care about the matchup, because I have all the assets that makes me fantastic. To be honest, it is more like a tier 9 tank destroyer than it is a tier 8 one, in all honesty, but there we go. So we've pushed aggressively, because I've not found anything. There doesn't seem to be anything on this flank, except for Mr. T92LT here, who we're just going to farm up. He has absolutely no chance against us, this T92 whatsoever. We just outgun him, out-mobility him, well, no, we don't out-mobility him anymore, actually, since it's been buffed. But, you know, we still can keep up with him. We've still got the good gun handling. We've still got the amazing DPM. And we've got amazing camo. So we absolutely shredded that poor guy. But yeah, when I poked up at the aggressive position at D4... I expected to spot someone crossing the 1 line. But I didn't see anyone. So I poked over the rock at E3 to see if anyone was camping. at F3, which people do. Didn't see anyone. They're already there usually by that point. So I thought, okay, next port of call is E4, which is where we poked over and found the T92LT. And we only found the T92LT. And that made me go, okay, I really don't think anyone's here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this snippety sniper position, which used to be, by the way, a far, far better position back in the day. But they absolutely murdered it with all these rocks. Which means you have to go right on top of the rock line to be able to shoot people. And only really tanks that have good gun depression, like this vehicle with 10 degrees, can use it that easily. And it's a frustrating thing that ended up being changed about this map when it came back. It was always a bit annoying that, but there we go. Because it meant that the enemy team, when they push along the HJ line, don't really have much cover in regards of gun sniper fire, which they used to have. Which then hurts the heavy tank line quite badly, but there you go. So, we've got to this position here at G4, and we are just farming. We know we tracked that Death Star, so we're just going to keep firing, because I know I can keep him perma-tracked. He must have repaired it, though, as he does get away. But in fact, we didn't actually get a critical from that other shot, so we must not have hit the track. We go for the tippy top of the Tiger 2 turret, and we hit it. We finish off that Tiger 2 there. The 4005 is, well, you see how close he is. He didn't even see us there. We've got shots at a Balsic. That ricocheted on the Balsic? 248 meters, by the way. That 4005 still didn't see us. The Death Star gets finished off, so we're going to focus on to the Balsig so we can get that gun out of the game, as it is the big gun, and we've finished that guy off. Only 3 tanks left on the enemy team. We're going to load the HE rounds so that we can go through this 4005's turret if he does end up driving on that corner, because I'm fully expecting him to, and he will probably end up seeing us. And in fact, I reload APCR rounds. Why? Because the FV4202 looked like he was going to drive into the open. And in fact, the 4005, as soon as I pressed A, pulled out into the open. Thanks, 4005. We put the HE shell in to finish him off. Now there's the 268 version 5. We're trying to go for that tracking shot to try and track and pen him, but it doesn't quite work out. He gets back behind the rock, so we're just going to, again, keep our attention on both vehicles to see if they give us a shot. There's only one tank left. It is that 268 version 5, so we're just going to wait for him to drive out around the corner. He drives around the corner. We get that tracking shot, and you know what? I don't care. I've got all the hit points. I'll just let you shoot me, mate. And actually, he gets absolutely eviscerated very, very quickly. We finished the game with a really nice total there for the Panserjager in a tier 10 game. We finished with the epic victory, 4 kills, 5.5k damage, 1068 assistance damage, the ace tank of the high caliber, the sniper medal, with the 2.2k base XP. An absolutely fantastic game for the Panserjager in a tier 10 game. And honestly, it is an absolutely amazing tank that you can earn for free. So now here we are with the Cold War Era 1 Western Alliance tank destroyer, the NM116. This was the original NM116 that came out. And again, this tank for Era 1 is absolutely fantastic. Why? Because its gun handling is absolutely incredible. Again, it's got fantastic, absolutely insane camo, to be honest, with the great mobility and the good penetration. Again, at an insane DPM. It is just an insane tank in Era 1. If you play it to its strengths, it can just destroy Era 1 quite easily, to be honest with you. And that's because it's quite difficult. It's just, look at the concealment. 122 meters of still concealment. Now, you might be going, well, the true vision's the thing. They can see you with their physical eyes. Well, sure. But a lot of people, and especially Era 1, because it's full of new players, they will not find you that easily. They will mostly focus on the people that are actually spotted. So if you stay unspotted for longer, that means you have longer to farm people, and they have a lot harder time trying to find you, essentially. And it is just a beautiful tank to play, in all honesty. It's absolutely fantastic. Struggles a bit when it gets closed down, especially because of the gun depression over the rear being a bit of a problem. But yeah, in general, the tank's absolutely phenomenal. So, what do I run in terms of recruit and equipment? Well, in terms of the equipment, I run the advanced loader, the gun stabilizer, and the camo net. Camo net to get that fantastic concealment that you see there in conjunction with the smoke, so that we can have that fantastic concealment, stay unspotted easier, and if we need to get out of dodge, we can just pop smoke and run away. The gun stabilizer to keep the accuracy during rotation and movement down as low as possible, because we can actually play this thing like an active scout as well, and the gun handling will still be incredible if we help it out, with the advanced loader to make the best out of the DPM. And then in terms of the commander, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, 6th Sense, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, and Muffled Shot. All 3 camo perks, for a similar reason to the NM116 and Panserjager in World War II, in the fact that This reduces the effect of firing on our camo massively. Silent driving will keep our camo down as close to that 122 meter mark as possible, and the camouflage expertise in general helps the camo out on the vehicle to have that amazing 122 meters of still concealment, which not that many tanks have in Era 1. And then the 3 gun perks to get this gun as good as possible, because this tank is all about the gun. It is absolutely immense, and if you can help it out to get the statistics that we get it down to, it's just insane. It really, really is. So let's have a quick look at the modules of the vehicle. As you can see, that's where the engine block is for the NM116. That's where the ammo rack is. That's where the crews sit. It's pretty much the same as the World War II version because, well, they are basically copy-paste of each other, near enough. So let's get into the statistics of the NM116. So as you can see, we've got a 61.2 km/h top speed with a 20.9 km/h reverse speed. 400 horsepower engine is 21.5 horsepower per ton ratio, which means this tank gets to its top speed really easily. Now, you could, if you wanted to, just drop something like the camo net if you're not bothered about the camo, go for the traction system, and you will hit 67 km/h very easily. But the camo is insane if you help it out. You really want to do that if you can, as it really helps it fulfill its role that it does try and play. But again, you could go even faster with the traction system, and even then, you could try and experiment with dropping the gun stabilizer, and you will be able to get that top speed as well, as the gun handling will still be amazing without the gun stabilizer. It's just that if you run the gun stabilizer, you'll basically hit every shot on the move with this vehicle, which is why we do it. And then you've got the 12% internal fire chance, which is on the lower end of fire chances. 40 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed means that the tank turns pretty quickly on its tracks. Just like every tank in Cold War, the terrain resistances are non-existent. They don't count for anything, really. The 122 meters of still concealment is absolutely incredible. 156 meters of on-the-move concealment means it's very, very difficult to spot you even when you're on the move. You've got 526 meters of view range, which means you've got fantastic view range to spot for yourself in Era 1. You've got 37.55 degrees a second on the turret traverse, which is slower than your tracks, which is 40 degrees, but it's still pretty close. A 0.44 accuracy during rotation is absolutely incredible, and a 0.86 accuracy during movement is also pretty damn incredible. It means that during movement, during rotation, during everything really, the NM116 aim circle basically becomes it doesn't bloom. It just doesn't bloom out that much at all. And the little bit it does bloom out, it only takes 1.63 seconds to aim in. So you can hit shots really easily all the time on the move in this tank. You really can, because the aim circle is non-existent. You've got 10 degrees of gun depression, which again, like the standard Panserjager, is absolutely fantastic. You've got the 0.25 accuracy at 100 meters, which again means this tank is super duper accurate. Although Era 1 gun handling is a little bit wonky at times. I sit there sometimes going, you got 0.25 accuracy. How did that hit the floor? Gun. What? Hey? Era 1 can be like that. The accuracy in Era 1 just generally feels a little bit wonky for the statistics that are absolutely incredible. Like for some of the tanks in Era 1 that get this sort of accuracy at 100 meters, then you play the tank and it misses some of the shots. Some of the tanks in World War II have way worse accuracy at 100 meters than that, but they'll hit far more than this. And it's just one of those weird things in Era 1. But there we go, I digress. 4.99 second reload is 3.3k DPM, which is absolutely fantastic. Not as good as the World War II version, which is random, but there we go. 3.3, nearly 3.4k DPM is still absolutely fantastic. You just absolutely shred vehicles so fast. With 262mm of penetration on the standard APFS DS, 320mm of penetration on the premium heat rounds, and 45mm of penetration on the HE rounds, 280 alpha, 370 on the HE, 1275 on the APFS DS, 950 on the heat, 750 meters a second shell velocity on the HE. Means that, again, you got fantastic velocity on your standard, below average on the premium, and way slower on the HE, so just adjust accordingly to your round choice. But for your standard round, that is pretty damn nice. And you've got 155% silver bonus as well, which means that, especially with Era 1 being pretty good for making silver, you will make very good silver with the NM116. But like I say, this is an absolutely fantastic tank destroyer. Both tanks are amazing. And then if you already own them, you just want to pick the World War II version because you get more silver from it, pretty much. But there we go. That's how you pick your gods. That's how you earn honor or points. That's how the two tanks stack up. Let's go and show you the gameplay for the NM116. See how it handles. See if it's a bit of view or not. You know, all that good stuff. So as always, everybody, I'll see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the Cold War Western Alliance Era 1 tank destroyer, the NM116. And this first replay, we are here on this map, which is Desfall. And on Desfall, one of the key positions to take is this middle area. Why? Because you have shots across every single flank in the map, which means that for a tank like the NM116, it can be a very, very nice thing to have if you win it, because you can stay unspotted so easily while absolutely farming up from this position, and you can just push your damage total up really quite high by doing it, and you can actually derail flanks as well by farming them as they're distracted while taking other positions. So we're just keeping our eye on this C line here, because usually you can catch tanks crossing that line and get free shots, but there's been nothing so far. We see the M46A1, and that shot looked like it should have hit, but it didn't. We get hit by something while we were unspotted as well, so we get a tracking shot into the T95E3 and then get a second one in, but we end up getting spotted, so I decided, okay, I'm not doing that because I don't want to get hit by a 4005, who we see crossing the C line. So we're going to go see if we can get a shot into this guy. We put a shot into him, it tracks and pens him, glorious. If we can do that again, that would be wonderful. Sadly, though, with hitting that back drive wheel, it doesn't happen again, and he gets himself safe. But in fact, while getting himself safe, he decides to turn around. And you know what? If you want to turn around, sir, I will quite happily get some extra damage into you. I think we took most of that guy's hit points by doing that. Can't get a shot at the RU, though, and we're just going to keep our eye on that cross again. And another 4005 is making the cross. Again, I'm hoping to track the 4005 so that we can keep him tracked and penned every single time. There's the tracking shot, but he repairs it. Really wish we could have got him without him using his repair kit, as we could have farmed his whole hit points very, very easily, because this tank is great at perma-tracking people, same as the World War II one. If you can perma-track people, and especially when you're unspotted, it's what you kind of want to do. Sadly, though, that shot at the Tyran 5SH ended up flying somewhere, and we ended up missing him. We're up to 3.1k damage. And then we've seen that the guys are starting to push a bit aggressively on the other flank. We pop smoke. Why? Well, because I'm an idiot. Is what it is. You know when you're used to running food on your premium consumable button? Yeah, it's quite easy to just go, oh, I'll boost my reload with food. Oh wait, that was smoke. Oh, poo. Sorry, people who were trying to use this position. You know, it's one of those. So we shut down the Centurion 2. Might have been helpful to actually have my smoke here when we get spotted, but there we go. We get spotted, so we're going to use this opportunity to try and pull back and stay safe a bit more, but we're just going to be cheeky and keep shots flying at the M103 so we can try and just whittle their hit points down. But since we were spotted on that right-hand side, we're going to poke around the other side instead, but naturally they can see us with true vision if we're not careful, so we don't want to give them too easy a shot. So we get a shot towards the M103A1 that only tracks him, but that means we get an easier shot into his lower plate. There is a medium tank spotted at F3, but I'm currently just tunnel visioning this M103A1 because I would like to get rid of him if I can. We put a shot through his side, and sadly for me, he's going to get away before I can put another shot in. In fact, there's a T95E3. Look how close that guy is, 319 meters away. This is the camo of the NM116. It is insane. He can't see me unless he uses true vision to find me, and a lot of the time when people are taking hits, especially in Era 1, they don't try and find you. They go, oh boy, I've got to get out of dodge and not take a hit, just like that E3 did. So again, you get the opportunity to just keep firing at them and getting free damage, and it's just the way it rolls, which is why camo is still an important thing to max out if you can. So we see the heavy tank behind us, the IS-4M. We want to get rid of this guy if we can, so we can still be king of the roost. You know, we want to hold this perch. We go in with the heat round loaded. We bounce off his side. Bit of bad play there. We should have aimed it properly, but he sets us on fire. We put a shot into his side there, avoiding the spaced armor with the heat, and he gets another shot in. Why did he get another shot in? Because he actually set us on fire, making our reload worse, meaning we take 2 hits there. That was a bit of bad play from us with the NM116, as we should have aimed it properly. If we'd aimed it properly, we would have got him. If we were firing the final round of APFS DS there, we wouldn't have had to worry about the heat round getting absorbed. It was a real problem. But at this point, I realised that we're screwed. We're just screwed. There is not much chance of us winning this game with the hit points we got. We see the medium tank pop on the map, but I really want to get the kill on this Tyran to try and help my dude out and whittle this M46A1 down. But we realise, oh boy, I don't have the chance to do that. And the MX-30A ends up shutting us down. We finish with a defeat, sadly, for us in the NM116 in that first game. 6.68 damage, 4 kills, high caliber, the sniper medal, the second class, for that 916 base XP in the first game there on Desful, which is a sad time, but it shows you the capabilities of the NM116 when you put it in that position where you want to be in this tank, which is not being the focus of people's attention, and just keep farming, because that's where you're going to get the key strengths of this vehicle out of it. Because the moment you become people's attention, as you saw with the IS-4M, it starts to go pretty badly very quickly, as they can shred you, they have no problem penning you, and yeah, you just need to use the concealment as much as humanly possible. So we're on this second replay, and we're here on this map, which is Swamp. And on Swamp, we've come to this position here at D7 because it's a very good opening position to take. Why? Because you can shoot people like this Charioteer and this T95E3 as they cross up, and a lot of people in Era 1 do make this crossing, which is a really easy free farm, and especially for a tank like the NM116, which has amazing camo, it's very easy to stay unspotted, and because of all the foliage between you and the cross, it is actually quite difficult for them to truly be able to see you and find you with true vision. So it's a good position for farming up the damage, as we end up with 1445 damage so far with 622 assistance. So I make a mistake here. Whoa, where did that shot go? Okay then. So I make a mistake, and that is I went to the wrong ridge. I didn't mean to go to this ridge line, this little hump. I meant to go to the hump behind me, which would have kept me safe from shots from the T-34 and the M103, but there we go, we made that mistake, but we got to a position we want to be in anyway, because we can just keep poking over this little ridge line and getting free damage out if we can, as you can see, stay unspotted every time, but we get spotted when we fire, which, again, if people aren't truly trying to look for us with true vision, we can just keep taking advantage of that. So we're going to try and get a shot into this T-34 right now. We put a shot straight through the side of him as he is pressuring our medium tank down there. I want to try and get rid of him if we can. Put another shot in, but we take a hit from the T-34. That was a bit of a mistake, really. We shouldn't have taken a hit from that guy, because that was, well, it was obvious he was going to be loaded, as he hadn't fired at the other guy at any point. So we see the M103. I'm going to try and get a shot into the lower plate, but that shot doesn't go anywhere. We take a hit from a T95E3, and Mr. T95E3's come out of absolutely nowhere, and with that guy there, I cannot stay in this position whatsoever. So we're just going to use the mobility of the tank and the fantastic gun handling that we have. That means, again, we will hit every shot on the move in this tank. It's just the way it is. As long as we don't end up losing our gun depression over the back of the tank, because if you do look over the back of the tank, you will lose the gun depression. We will be able to keep the gun on target and just keep firing. And because you've already seen with the bloom on the tank when you are moving, it's non-existent. This gun is always ready to go, and it is one of the big strengths of the vehicle, that it can play that active run and gun role very, very easily, although it is pretty easy to hit, realistically. But the DPM is insane as well, the gun handling is insane, and if you keep it in positions like we have in the previous game and stuff like that, you are very, very difficult to be able to even be seen, which is a thing of beauty for it as well. So we're trying to get some flanking shots. So we come up behind the M46A1, get a shot into his side, try not to take a hit from him, because I don't really want to be a one-shot for most other stuff in the game. He's going to try and come after us, though. So we see the M46A1 go for that turret front, and because we can go through the front of that guy's turret with 262 pen, we're going to do it. Put another shot through for 302. He misses his shot. It would be very, very good to get rid of this M46A1 if we could, because we've seen the TD that's progressing down the map there, and the heavy tank, and I don't really want to be in a position to be shot by a 4005. If he gets up onto the ridge at G7, it's curtains for me. So we're just going to use the mobility of the NM116 and push after the M46A1, get behind them a little bit, be a bit cheeky, you know. So we get up behind the M46A1, finish him off with a shot on the move, because like I say, this tank doesn't really miss shots on the move, to be honest. But we know there's tanks along the 0 line. We know there's a tank at D8. I don't want to face those guys, because those guys will probably end up killing me. So what I actually want to do, and also, I'm all alone. I don't like being on this flank all alone. So we get a shot on the move into the Jagdpanzer 4-5, but my plan is to get up behind these two heavy tanks. I get up behind these two heavy tanks, I kill these two heavy tanks, and the medium tank that's just been spotted. The guys that are currently stuck in the castle at J3 will actually move, and they can help me with the people I'm expecting to come chasing after me. So I want to use this hump here at D1, which is what I always had in my head, because I should be able to get behind this T-34 and Thrungva, and we are. And because of the foliage, we can fire at these guys and not get spotted. So the Thrunkver ends up getting shut down by that 4005, and we got the back of the T-34. He ends up spotting us though, because, well, he is very, very close. And in fact, I don't even think it was him that spotted us. It was the Jagdpanzer 45 that was in a position where there was no bushes between us that ended up seeing us. So I've got to keep my eye on that Jagdpanzer 45, because now I've been spotted where I am. I expect him to come after us. We put a shot into the T-34, and I thought with a 4005 looking at him, he might not come after me. But, well, yeah, he did, and it was really obvious that he was coming after us. So, again, it was bad play to take that hit. We are now at one shot for everything. We shouldn't have taken that hit. We put a shot towards the STB-1. I was keeping my eye out for the Jagdpanzer 45, and in fact, there he is. So we are going to use our turret. We're going to use our turret to get around the Jagdpanzer 45. He ends up backing up into the water, so what we're going to do is tap him in the water, keep him pinned there, and as soon as we get too low in the counter, get back up above the waterline for us, and that means that, yep, we get all the damage on that Jagdpanzer 45 for him drowning. Because we kept him pinned in the water, and that meant that he drowned. He really screwed up that assassination attempt, but I knew he was going to be coming. I just didn't know where from and when. And that's why you saw me have that little look over the ridgeline to see if I could see him, but I couldn't. But I wanted to, again, try and help my guys along the HJ3 position so that I could get some damage shots into the STB-1 because I had the back of him. But we missed our shot, and then it was like, oh no, we might die here. But thankfully, as I say, he screwed up the assassination attempt. We managed to keep him pinned in the water, and we got all the damage for that. Now we've got the IS-4M in front of us. We've only got heat rounds left because we've used all of our APFSDS rounds. We get a shot through the side of that IS-4M, putting him down to a one-shot, and now it's all about being patient and waiting for him to make the mistake to give us the shot that he does, straight through the lower plate there of the IS-4M, securing our fourth kill of this game. And now we've got the back end of this M103, who's going after our 4005. I can only see that going badly, going straight over a ridgeline into a 4005. Yeah. That always ends badly. 183mm of pain. It's a thing. So we finished the game with the victory. 4 kills, 8.1k damage, 1619 assistance damage. Ace Tanker, the high caliber, with that 1898 basic XP. An amazing game there for the NM116, which, like I say, is absolutely amazing in Era 1. It is a fantastic tank destroyer. It does everything fantastically. And you could choose to earn this one for free as well. So that's everything for the Champions Path Earn Challenge for this Valhalla event that's going off. All the stuff that you can do to earn points, all the stuff that you can earn from the challenge, as well as discounts for the new tanks. And that's it for it all. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!